In part 2 of this tutorial on animation in Blender, we shall look at two aspects. One, regarding the general settings related to the material of the cube, the background color, the camera settings, and the light settings. In the second part, we shall look at the specific requirements and settings which need to be done to render this animation into a video. To begin with the settings, first we will get into camera view by pressing number 0 in the number pad. Next, we shall split this 3D window into two parts vertically, and under the viewport shading, we will select rendered in the left window so that we will be able to dynamically see the rendered output as we make the changes in the 3D window. Okay. Now, first we will set the material color. Here we will set red equal to 0, green and B equal to 0.8 and 0.8. You immediately see the rendered view in the left window. Next, let us set the background setting. For the background color, we will set RGB to 0.4 each. Next, we will select this blend sky so that there is a gradient of color from white to black as we go from bottom to top in the rendered image. Next, regarding the light, we will leave the location as it is, but energy we should increase it to 3. Next, the cube we shall scale it by 0.5 so that when it moves along the z-axis up and down, it doesn't overshoot outside the camera view. Okay. Next, we will do the camera settings. Camera location we need to make a bit more, cover the full movement of the cube. These values I have just arrived at by just trying out different settings. By setting some specific values like this, instead of randomly moving the camera or the cube, you will be able to get very well defined, clear settings. And even if you want to repeat this in another video, if you can just copy this variables and enter it there, you should get the same settings. So it's a good idea to have this style of working. Next, we will look at the settings which we need to do for rendering the animation. The first setting which we need to look at is the frame rate, which is having a value of 24 frames per second, which is the default value, and we shall use this here. Next, under resolution, you see 50% setting here. This percentage decides the size of the image of each frame. So when you are doing a trial rendering, then you can keep this resolution percentage low so that the rendered image size is small and the render time will also be less accordingly. Similarly, the frame steps for trial run can be more than one. maybe you can set it as 5 or 10, so that every 5th or every 10th frame is only rendered. So but when you see the animation, it may look a bit jerky, in the sense once the image changes from one to another, there may be some discontinuity which you may be able to perceive. But for the final output, you can set this resolution to 50, from 50 to 100, and the frame settings to 1 to get a smooth transition from one frame to another. Next, under the output, you need to select the folder where you want the final image to be, rendered image to be, the video to be saved. So we have selected the folder. You can also enter the file name. Then say accept. Okay, so here we have set the folder name and the file name for the final video output file. Next, under in this window, you select FFmpeg video for the output type, and the encoding you can go for MPEG 4. Here again, the quality for trial run can be kept as medium quality. For the final, you can select high quality. So by going for this settings in the initial stages, you will be able to render your video within lesser time. But for the final video, you can go for the high quality settings.